Hello, MACKs team. Simon is on a mission today, so he sent me instead, the albino ninja, to teach you about the gospel reading from Matthew 16:13 to 20. You think about superheroes. Do you have a favorite superhero? Superheroes usually have a secret identity, like Superman. Superman's a bit unusual because he is Superman all the time and he pretends to be a real person. So he puts on clothes to pretend to be Clark Kent, just an average guy. But one of my favorite heroes, Batman, he wears a mask, and a scary mask, so that he can protect his best old family friend Alfred and all of his other friends. He does it to keep them safe. And then there's Spider-Man. And he wears a mask all over his head. No one has any idea what his face looks like. So when all the other heroes finally find out his secret identity, they can't believe he's just a 16-year-old kid, and he wears the mask to protect his Aunt May and all of his friends at high school. And they're like, "Hey kid, should you be out saving the world? Do you have a note from your auntie?" Superheroes wear masks to keep their family and friends safe. Well, surprise! It's me, Simon. Had you tricked, didn't I? In our gospel reading today, Jesus has a massive secret that finally needs to be shared with some people who are closest to him. So he takes them off to a remote place to talk about it. The funny thing is, his friends weren't quite clever enough to figure it out. They'd seen him do the most amazing things, and they had heard him say the most amazing things that only God could come up with, but they weren't quite putting it all together. And so Jesus asked them to get them thinking about it. Who do people say that I am? And some of them said, "You're Batman." No, they didn't actually, but that would have been cool. Instead, they say, "People reckon you're like John the Baptist, or you're like the famous prophet Elijah." Not E.J. Wynn, but Elijah from the Old Testament. "You're like Jeremiah from the Old Testament." And he's like, so that's what people are saying about my secret identity. But then he asks, "Who do you say that I am?" And Peter says, his name's not Peter yet. He says, "You are the King of Israel." And remember, they weren't clever enough to figure that out. So actually, our dad in heaven shows Simon, the fisherman, Jesus' real secret identity. But you know what Jesus does straight away? He says, "Now don't you guys tell anyone." And he does that to keep them all safe. Why none of them could figure it out is because they never expected God's special king to be living as a handyman from Nazareth. Who would have figured that out? Just like no one expects a refugee from Krypton to be pretending to be a journalist living in New York, or for Spider-Man to be some pimply-faced high school guy. Wow. Except the difference between these guys and Jesus is that Jesus is a real person. And he really is the king of everything. And he becomes king of everything when he died and rose again. Friends, at the moment, the world's gone really strange, hasn't it? Every time you go down the street, the adults in your house and the adults down the street are wearing masks. And they're wearing masks to keep everyone safe, and it's really important. And sometimes you think, don't I know that adult? But I can't tell who they are with a mask on. We keep wearing masks to keep people safe. So that's good, but still, big people and little people are worried about what's happening in the world. Will we get better? Will we get over this virus that is scaring everyone? But you know what? In a time that's scary like this, we've got to remember something really important. Jesus is the King. Jesus is in charge of everything. And the Bible promises in so many places that Jesus will bring the world steadily to a good end, not a scary and bad one. So friends, if you're feeling scared now, talk to King Jesus and ask him to help you. And he will, because he is in charge of the world.